Hey, how's it going? This is Augustus on Ask a Wise Guy, and I'm about to get wise with it. So, we have another one. We have another goodie. I've been getting a couple more requests, and this is another one that came up. How to gain power. I hope you got your pens and pads out for this one. Whatever beverages you need, make sure that you are fully attentive. And once you get this, be prepared to play this over and over and over. I mean, really let it saturate your brain, because this one, let's get started. A man that knows what he needs knows what to think about it. But a man that knows what he can have knows what to do about it. Authority is given when trust is held, but power is developed when problems are solved. Problems are simply questions in disguise. Answers don't lie within problems. They lie within their past. In verse 5, if you answer a question with no knowledge of the question's history, you are giving a hypothesis. Alright, so let's get started into verse 1. A man that knows what he needs knows what to think about it. But a man that knows what he can have knows what to do about it. A man that knows what he needs knows what to think about it. But a man that knows what he can have knows what to do about it. It's like this. If you grew up around a number of people, and these people were your average people, your day-to-day, 9-to-5 workers. No need to say, these people understand what they need in life. They understand that they need a certain amount of money to get by, to make it to tomorrow. Right? Now, if you grew up around this number of people, around this form of people, right? Where do you think your expectations will be based on your surroundings? What do you think you will actually believe you can have? See, power is all about vision. Wisdom is about vision, but power as well is about vision. See, now let's use that same example, and let's say you grew up around people that just kept getting money. They kept getting money, and whenever they would get money, they would find ways to get more and to get it quicker. They had a specific number of talents, but they weren't necessarily geniuses. They just understood money. What do you think you would believe that you can have? See? And if you carried on that mentality just because of your upbringing or your surroundings, do you believe that you wouldn't know what to do about it? See, because you've seen it all day. You've seen these guys. For example, if you have that type of surrounding, your friends that you grew up with, you've seen them have a little bit, take it, and then turn it into a lot. You've seen it all day. If you get married, and those were your friends that you came up with, chances are you're going to get married to a woman that understands the same principle, because that's all you've seen growing up. See, so it's like this. Everyone knows what they need. Everyone knows that they need clothes on their back, food. They need a bed, they need a house, they need shelter. Everyone knows that they need that. But when you know that you could have caviar, I don't know if you're a fan of caviar, but let's say steak dinners, you know that you could have that. You know that you could have designer clothes on your back. You know that the bed that you could be sleeping in could be designed by NASA. You know that foam cushion that you always see on those long boring commercials. Yeah, if you believe that you could have that, would you not know what to do about it? So a man that knows what he needs knows what to think about it. But a man that knows what he can have knows what to do about it. Verse 2. Authority is given when trust is held, but power is developed when problems are solved. Authority is given when trust is held, but power is developed when problems are solved. Excuse me. I got my coffee with me, as you should. But authority is given when trust is held, but power is developed when problems are solved. So authority, a lot of people, they like authority. Everyone respects power. All right. But when I speak, you'll understand that sometimes I go in and out of the natural and from the spiritual to the natural, spiritual matters to the natural, and I'll kind of jump in and out. But I would do everything in my power to simplify it all for you. But say if you have a king, right? Or not even in an example. I'll put it like this: the most successful kings and emperors throughout all of history, they worked for their authority. The most successful leaders, governors, kings, emperors, people of authority, they worked for their authority. Now, when authority is given to you, you're given a responsibility along with that. But see, a man that develops his own authority and develops his own power, well, see, there's a common thread between men like that. That common thread is the fact that these guys understand how to solve problems. Bill Gates is one of the most richest men known to social media, known to media. He's one of the most successful, most richest, right? But he didn't get there because someone handed him down the formula for his enterprise. No one handed that down to him. What he did was he examined his art. He examined his talents. He seen a problem in that art. Not his problem, but a problem that people needed to be solved. And he found a way to solve it. Now this problem, it was a multi-billion-dollar problem. The coldest thing about this is that everyone that was coping with this problem didn't even realize that it was a problem. Because in their mind, they're thinking that this is the best that we could have. We have good computers. We have, this is high technology. This is great. But then he said, you know what? Let's do something about the virus. Let's cure this problem. Now you have a computer that can't catch any viruses. Then he piggybacked on that. He said, you know what? Let's bring the touch screen back. You know what? Let's bring voice recognition back. And he was solving problems from left and right, billion-dollar problems. Now he's a multi-billionaire. I've heard this one billionaire say, he said, if you want to be a billionaire, solve 10 $100 million problems and you'll become a billionaire. That's very simple. The only problem between most and those billionaires that were willing to do it is that they were willing to do it. And that's really all it boils down to. That's what power boils down to. Anyone could be could have power handed to them. You could throw it in their lap like hot potato, right? But power, real power, you gotta solve somebody's problems to get that. I hope this is getting you turned, because I'm getting turned talking about this. Verse 3. Actually, no, let me go back over verse 2. Authority is given when trust is held, but power is developed when problems are solved. Verse 3. Problems are simply questions in disguise. Problems are simply questions in disguise. Example. Say you have a guy named Ryan, right? Ryan, he's driving this car in this van, right, with his friends in it, and he brings up to him, hey, let's go to Vegas, right? They all say we're already going in that direction. Why not? Let's go. Now Ryan failed to tell these guys that he didn't check the car or the van before they left. So you could guess what happens next. These guys are stranded on the road in the middle of the desert on the way to Vegas. Now, what could have prevented this? We see what the problem is. The problem is that they're stranded. That's the problem. That's the issue. That's the plot. But what could have prevented this?
Commodus was next. Here at the Colosseum, he would show all Rome his great victories and claim our deeds as his own. Now I would earn the right to fight him and cut this poison from the heart of Rome. I would have my vengeance.
Can't wait to get out there and fight.
You don't have a clue. You'll be slaughtered in the first wave.
I've fought in every arena. No man's put me down yet.
This is the Colosseum! You aren't meant to fight. You are meant to die. people! Today, you have had the honor! Yes.
I think it would have been wise for someone to ask, hey Ryan, before we just spontaneously do this, did you check the car? Problems are simply questions in disguise. Verse 4. Answers don't lie within problems. They lie within their past. Answers don't lie within problems. They lie within their past. So, if you take Ryan and his friends, they're stranded, right? And everyone's focusing on the problem. They're getting mad, they're throwing tantrums, they're pulling their hair. They came there with the full head of hair. They're leaving bald. They're mad right now. One of them got a screwdriver. He thought it would be a good idea to pierce one of the tires out of anger. Right? Not gonna help the situation, is it? But that's what happens when people focus on the problems. And what happens is when you focus on a problem, all it does is elevate that problem. I'll give you a short story. There was a ancient soldier. You may recognize this story or not, but there was a ancient. And these days they were beginning to be called judges. There weren't any kings yet, but at least not with these people. But this judge, his name was Joshua, right? And he was over a group of people that they wanted to take a certain kingdom. They wanted to take that kingdom out. So what happened was these people, they sent spies out, and this went on for a good period of time, about 40 years if I'm not mistaken. And they would send spies out, and then the spies would come back and go to the people, and they'll say, they would tell their people, they'll say, man, we're like grasshoppers to these guys. These guys aren't to be played with. So what happens is Joshua, he's coming into power, right? And he's been hearing this as he's been coming up, as he's been developing in his army, right? But he says, you know what? Let me take a look at it for myself. So he sends some spies over. And come to find out, the people within this kingdom heard about Joshua's people and their reputation, and how they had a miraculous, how they have a reputation of getting into wars, and miraculous things would happen that would help them win the war. So these people, it didn't matter how big and strong they were scared of Joshua and his army. And Joshua's spies found that out. They came back over there to Joshua like Russell Crowe in Gladiator. I mean, they were like, hey, we need to make a move on this. These guys are scared of us. If we come in fierce enough, they might just hand their swords over, right? They might just wave a flag. And what happened was, I'm about to get into my point, but what happened was Joshua, he said, all right, well, let's take it. Let's do it. And they took the land out, no problem. It was no problem. It was such a win, you would think that it was a miracle. See? And actually, there was a miracle that was involved, but the fighting, that's a different story. And they took the land. So the problem was that the people believed that there were grasshoppers to the other side. But Joshua said, you know what? Let me look past it. And when he did that, it kind of opened Joshua's eyes about his own people. He said, you know what, these guys, this is a different generation. This is a generation of lazy people. They're living their wealth based off of what their ancestors did for them. And they didn't really have to work for nothing. He noticed that, and he said, let me get some real soldiers on my side. And he got them, he rallied them together, and they took the land, no problem. Because he acknowledged the history of the problem, not just the problem. Alright, sorry about that. You might notice some people in the background. I've had a couple of guests over. But, so answers, verse 4, answers don't lie within problems. They lie within their past. Verse 5, if you answer a question with no knowledge of the question's history, you are giving a hypothesis. If you answer a question with no knowledge of the question's history, well, then you're giving a hypothesis. I'll put it like this. In order to pose a question, there has to be a concern. A question doesn't start with the question itself. It starts with the concern of the question. I mean, any real question, right? Soon I'm going to speak on questions in more validity, but and that'll help you understand this in a more broader range. But for now, questions they start with a concern. So if someone asks a question and they're concerned about something, not just any answer is going to tend to that concern. There has to be some kind of knowledge about this concern in order to take care of the question, in order to take care of the concern. If you really want to answer a question, really want to answer a question to where someone is satisfied from your answer, you have to understand the concern behind the question. Example, I could ask someone, why is the sky blue? Right? Now, if I don't care about their concern behind that question, someone could simply say, because that's just the way it is. Because that's how God made it. He made it blue. He wanted the sky to be blue. Right? But then you could have a scientist in the room. Someone that specializes in the area of life and skies, right? And they could say, well, the sky is blue because of the different particles that make up the sky. And when those particles collide, you're left with a blue sky. See, and that person that asked why the sky is blue, now they could walk away satisfied. They have a answer that they could take to the bank. They could take that to the bank, right? So, if you answer a question with no knowledge of the question's history, you're given a hypothesis. And the beautiful thing about this is verse 5 supports verse 4. Verse 4 supports verse 3. And if you could combine these together, and then tie it together with verse 2 and 1, but if you could combine those, you'll have a strong principle figured out in life of how you could not just gain power, but gain success in certain areas of your life. See, so problems are simply questions in disguise. That's verse 3. Answers don't lie within problems, they lie within their past. And verse 5, if you answer a question with no knowledge of the question's history, you are given a hypothesis. Master that. Listen to this often, quite often, every day until you get it. And when you start applying this stuff, you're going to see things happen in your life. And I want to hear your testimonies. Please leave comments, leave questions in the comments section. Email me. I'll be leaving my email on all of these videos. And I'm going to leave you with that. And I'm looking forward to seeing your testimonies. All right. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe. God bless. And stay wise.